Thank you very much, Riv. Guys, here on the Think Tank. It's not much to break down here. Samsung White executing a perfect game. 0 deaths, 0 dragons given up, 0 towers giving up. Absolutely demolishing Dark Passage. They got themselves the pentakill. I want to talk about the duo lane. Vayne Janna, best lane in the world?
No. Within the context of their composition, it was fine, but when you pick that when you don't even know what the enemy's going to pick, and, Thresh Jinx is a lane where, yes, if you can get a shield onto Vayne and you can get that tumble, it can hurt, but you run into a real risk if you are tumbling like that to getting flayed into traps. I mean, there's so much hard CC that you're probably going to lose, and you also can get poked out as well. So
it's just mechanics practice. Come on.
Yeah.
So it managed to work out for them. I want to ask probably the Talon versus Orianna. We saw Pawn constantly throwing his ultimate over and over and over. Talk to me about the matchup and how he played that out.
So I guess it's kind of counterintuitive because you think about it and you go, all right, Talon without ult, he's not going to kill him. But in that matchup, it's actually really hard to ever get a free kill on Orianna. So using your ultimate on cooldown the way he did with the Brutalize, their first buy, was perfect because after he uses ult and Orianna went low, he's now able to just auto-attack to get all the CS because Ori can't harass that back. She's too low from what just happened. And then it's a ticking time bomb. Talon gets ult in 30 seconds. So it's going to happen again. So it's almost like Orianna has to buy 5 health pots every back and then has to trade really well. So it's kind of like, it's just terrifying to play that lane.
Yeah, it really worked out in Samsung's favor. They mechanically outshone their opponents. One thing that stood out for me was their buff control. We were looking at the gold lead despite having next to no kills by the 20-minute mark. 7 blue buffs and 6 red buffs over the course of the game. In contrast to Dark Passage, they had 1 blue and 2 reds. I mean, when you can't even control your own jungle, there's literally no way you're actually going to be able to be relevant and stay in this game.
No, and not only that, but they were basically Samsung White was running from red buff to blue buff on the enemy side over and over again while the mid turret was still up. There's not really a way to get out-rotated harder than that. I mean, that's... Because basically, when you still have that mid-outer up, you should always be able to reach your other buff faster. And Dandy also, it must be said, I mean, we were just taking a look at some of the information from this game. Dandy was 3 levels up very early in this game by about 15 minutes. And they did that just through objective control and buff stealing and dragons mostly. So it was pretty impressive jungling from Dandy on the whole. And then, I want to talk about the Vayne pick a little bit because this is something we're likely to see a bit more in this tournament with big-time Vayne players like Imp and Uzi.
First Vayne of the tournament and secures a pentakill.
Yeah, and it won't be the last because when you leave the Alistair up and you are on red side, then if they take it and they put it up in the top lane, Vayne is one of those champions through the percent damage and the true damage that will be able to deal with this. Because when Alistair comes in, especially if you have some sort, like if you have Vayne there and you have a zoning tool to keep the rest of the team out, you can quickly burst down a hyper tank. It's good against Maokai as well.
Very quickly before we get to the replay.
Okay, just one thing. So sending Vayne top against that, I think better teams are going to be able to realize that kind of fault with a top lane and not allow that to happen. When Vayne went top, it was very predictable. They should have been able to see that coming after the bot turret fell, and if they were just able to lane swap, they could have avoided that. But it was kind of like Dark Passage wasn't really aware they're going to do this, and after Alistar was stuck top against Vayne, it was just now they're going to bleed turrets.
And that's exactly what happened. We talked about the pentakill. Let's pull this one up onto your screens. It is the first pentakill here, day 2 of the World Championships between Prolly and Monty. Let's talk through this clip as we roll it out, because as Monty said, Impin' ain't easy.
Impin' ain't easy. Well, I mean, coming in here, I mean, Naro just dies to the burn right there. And it looked a little risky for him. He gets hit by the traps and the Alistair knock-up, but gets saved right there by Mata. And then Dandy's there for a little bit more protection. And Looper from the side makes sure Touch can't get out either. And then, good guy Fabulous.
To zoom in.
Gives up the last one.
That's some classy camera work. Prolly, Jat asked it on the set. Was that a legit pentakill? You're going to be the final say.
I would say yeah, because that cow was not going to get away.
No, there was no way.
He accepted his fate, and he's like, I'm going to think about what to buy now, and just opened up his shop.
became a big piece of steak. Anyways, guys.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing about the takeaway of this, because the AHQ game was a little bit more scrappy, and we saw some more cocky plays from Samsung White. But this game was a very different story. 0 kills until pretty pretty early into the mid-game. Very methodical control of objectives. You can see how intelligent White is here, as well as good at skirmishing and maybe overplaying their hand a little. Very impressive to get a perfect game.
I'm actually happy you mentioned that, because in the matchup of Samsung White versus Edward Gaming, they also had missed positions, especially in Imp in particular, that cost them some of those team fights. Anyways, we do want to check out how you guys are watching the World Championships all around the world. At Simon Monk Niels and some friends in class are working on their R's. Reading, writing, and renekton, if you say so. And from Crumbs, he writes, this is how I worlds. You may have the best view, but of course he's looking at us, so yeah, well played, dude. And then at Jack Doonan, he proves that even down under, they're chanting TSM. All right, we got another one coming to us from at Shiny Shedinja. Proves that cosplay isn't just for cons, and writes, this is how I world. 4 a.m. Renekton outfit, because who needs sleep anyway? Is that really a Renekton outfit? I couldn't actually see. We need a full-body Renekton photo from our last photo. Anyways, send them to us how you're watching the action out of Taipei by tweeting at LoL eSports. Use the hashtag Worlds. In our next match, North America's Team Solo Mid will square off against the Taipei Assassins for what could be the second team to make it to quarterfinals. We're going to take some shots of a second. TSM in a huddle. Hey, the General's there. We'll see if any strategies he can provide will do better than the ones that worked against World Club. TPA, thinks that's them. Yes, chatting a little bit. Those are serious faces. They definitely don't want to disappoint their home crowd. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Dandy's going to continue a 2v1 by himself. Looper says, you're mine, and he may get another one. 4v1 for himself right now as the team comes in from the backside. Health bars are being completely demolished right now. A little bit of brush control is going to be good for this one. Double kill coming in for Imp. He keeps the shot coming. The triple kill for Imp. Looking for the quad.
They want to give him the
and they are